You know, I've been flip-flopping on this fight pretty much since it was announced, Teddy. We look back to Regis Prograis' last fight against Zorilla in June, and he did look poor. You know, he was plodding around the ring after Zorilla, failing to cut off the ring in what was expected to be a fairly easy homecoming fight for him in New Orleans, especially on his DAZN debut. And, you know, just in terms of my own scoring as well, I thought he was fairly lucky to come out with the victory in that fight. You know, the issue for Prograis ahead of this one is that he faces another mover in Devin Haney on Saturday, and one who will no doubt be extremely buoyed by what he saw in the Zorilla fight. You know, Prograis was telegraphing every time he looked to come inside in Zorilla. You know, he'd do a little shuffle of his feet before moving his head from side to side. That telegraphed his entry point. And if he does that here, you know, Haney will read those patterns all night long, and it'll turn into some kind of, you know, jabbing sleepathon, effectively, a very one-sided fight. The only hope for Prograis here is that he's obviously learned from those mistakes. He certainly knows what he's up against here. And you just can't discount the power dynamic in this fight. You know, on the surface, Haney's making the move from 135 to 140, you know, after unifying all the titles down there, which is a big enough adjustment on its own, obviously. But that doesn't even tell the full story here. Haney has never... Now, he was a big lightweight, so obviously the move up, you know, has been deemed necessary, but Haney has never been in the area code of the power he's going to face here on Saturday night. You know, Regis Prograis is legitimately one of the hardest punchers in the entire sport. 24 KOs and 29 wins. And we already saw Jorge Linares put Haney on spaghetti legs down at lightweight. So if Prograis lands clean here even once, you know, Haney's probably going to wake up next Tuesday. He's going to have to be absolutely perfect for all 12 rounds. Likely something... You know, for all Prograis' recent faults, that's going to be easier said than done. So I think it's very easy to look at both men's last fights. You know, Haney's controversial decision against Lomachenko, Prograis really struggling against the lateral mover in Zorilla, and assume, you know, Haney's jab, his ring IQ, his space, and so on will prove too much for Prograis in this one. But, you know, like I said, that last performance for Prograis could well play into his hands here. He's now not at home anymore. You know, the home pressure isn't there for him. He's not the betting favourite. He obviously goes into this one as the underdog. And all Prograis has heard over the last few months is how he can't cut off the ring. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an almost Triple G approach from Prograis in this one, where, you know, he almost just abandons technique, you know, similar to that Triple G Kell Brook fight, and almost runs at Haney in spots here. You know, from a risk-reward standpoint, there's not much to lose doing that. Haney has bulked up in his move to 140, but make no mistake, there's only one serious power puncher in this fight. So for me, gun to head, the most likely scenario is Haney to win by decision, but minus 225, minus 240 in some spots, there's just no way I'm laying that. That's a non-starter. So taking Prograis to win straight up here, plus 310, looks like a far more appealing proposition to me. Prograis doesn't even have to win this one by knockout. He's the champ. You know, if he gets a couple of knockdowns, similar like Deontay Wilder Fury 1, it's going to be very hard to deny him on the scorecard. So I'll happily take a small piece of Regis Prograis on this one. Like I said, he's the power puncher. He only has to be right once, and maybe he's learned something from that poor performance against Zorilla last time out. So, yeah, plus 320, plus 310, little sprinkle. Take the underdog this weekend up in San Francisco.